There we go. Not really sure what happened there. OBS just kind of had a moment. Because I never lost internet connection. And that I could tell. Just the bitrate went to hell and everything went a bit crazy. But everything is fine. And I have tried out the trilogy. The control changes are a little strange, but it is nice that they at least actually put the trilogy together. And I am tentatively looking forward to the remaster that's supposedly coming. But they've made rumors of remasters so many times that I don't know if it will actually happen. Till it's, actually done. I'm, of course, currently running the original GameCube version. Right, it's that door again. Right. I keep going back to that door thinking I can go through it, and then I'm remembering that it was a one-way door. Everything should be good now. Oh, hopefully. Yeah. If there's anything to be said about the Metroid series, it's a game of doors. Because, man, every single one of these games has so many goddamn doors. Doors upon doors upon doors. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say there's loads more. There are a few more. So I think there's, what, like 12 of them total? Is it? I'm pretty sure it goes to the end of where your health bar currently sits. But I'm not aiming to 100% this on this trip, so I'm not too worried about it. Don't get me wrong, the health would be nice. But I also don't want this to take forever and a day to get done. Now back to this problem. I came in here earlier in the day and could not find the other two runes in this room. Well, yeah, it is a long game, but we are done with most of said long game at this point. I just didn't want the last bits of this game to take forever. Throw all these out. Now, am I remembering wrong, or is the other two symbols not here, as in they're up at the other end? I'm assuming you went and through this recently, so you will remember how to deal with this problem, and I cannot for the life of me find or remember how to get back up there. They're on the back. Ah, okay. I just missed that, I guess, when I circled these before. Thank you. I literally walked all around this room earlier today and did not spot them. I must have just not looked in the just right spots. Which is typical of these, because that's just how that is. Yeah. I knew there had to be 4 of them. That's why I was having so much trouble before, because I found 2, and then I was like, wait, they have to be here somewhere, so where the hell are they? Is the other end of the sun chamber's blocked off. See, I enjoy most of the puzzles in this. It just gets annoying when you end up with a puzzle which is basically just, hey, find the random hidden object that we stuffed somewhere. It can get annoying after the 8th time you're doing that on a given day. I'd much rather them expect me to figure out something rather than try to find something. But that's a personal taste thing. Now we just need to go deal with the Sun Chamber ghosts. And then we'll get that artifact, and we'll be all done. Come on, become solid so I can kill you. I know you're a ghost, but you're still supposed to land somewhere on solid ground there, buddy. Quit cheating. There we go. And that's why this is supposed to be a fairly early artifact in the list, is because it's just some ghosts. Very easy. And now, we have all of the artifacts. And you'll notice the vines at the other door have went away, so now we can get back out the easy way. Yeah, this was the Flarga fight, which was the first major boss encounter. Nice shortcut out of here. That's a Magmoor Cavern elevator. We don't need that. I want to go back to the main plaza. Funnily enough, we'll actually be coming out that door I kept looking at all the time. Which, funny thing also, if you know some of the speedrunning tricks for this game, you can actually just throw yourself up there just fine. I don't know how to do that entirely still. But I happened to raid into a speedrunner yesterday who showed off that that was possible. There's something involving using the scan visor that you can just hurl yourself around at great speed. I haven't taken the time to figure out how to do that. And yeah, there used to be an E-tank there. That was, I think, the 4th one I picked up? Somewhere in that vague vicinity of the count. We're just gonna pop back to the gunship, save, and then we'll finish this. I never did finish Echoes either. And I will be intending to finish that one as well for everybody. There's definitely some really weird situations you can end up with in that game. I've definitely had a few odd glitches with both this and Echoes. Yeah, it suffers in a similar way to this one in terms of the fact that you have that massive backtrack you have to do before you can finish the game, but I can look past that. Dum-de-dum. We did the thing. We brought back all the artifacts. Nothing bad could possibly happen now. Here he comes to ruin everything, as is his tradition. I do kind of find it interesting, though, that Ridley breaks that when... That's exactly what the Space Pirates wanted, too. They wanted into the impact crater, so why destroy the thing that opens the impact crater? It's a bit of an odd decision. But I guess it's all just to deny us getting there. Come on, I want to scan you. I'll fight you after I scan you. Morphology, Meta Ridley, genetically enhanced Ridley metaform. Reborn and evolved through pirate technology, Meta Ridley is a fearsome enforcer. Its armored hide is extremely resilient, save for the chest, which has thinner plating. The pirates fused a number of potent weapons to the creature, including a multi-missile system, a kinetic breath weapon, a Maison bomb launcher, and an ultra-thermal flame strike projector. Meta Ridley is also a formidable melee combatant, making any sort of engagement a risky proposition. Now, what's interesting with this is it's said that this game fits in between the first Metroid 2, and then everything else. So the design that Ridley has now is a bit strange when you compare it to what he can do in later games in the series. So either they just rebuild him every damn time, or they didn't really think that through when they laid out the timeline. Yeah, this came out in 2002, I believe it said on the copyright screen. And I think Corruption came out in 2009, so you more or less have the line there pretty well. Now, I seem to recall that there really isn't much else to this fight other than don't get hit and just keep hitting him in the chest with super missiles till he stops moving. The tricky part is just keeping an eye on Ridley and keeping away from the worst of his attacks. Come on, Ridley. Just come out where I can hit you again. Yes, you have bombs. Good for you. That one did count, but not properly. And if you get into a bad position, when he breaks the pedestals, you do get health. So you'll want to make sure to grab that. I'm not sure why these aren't stunning him anymore. I think it's just not landing properly because he moves around so damn much. That's not gonna make contact because he's being a coward. No, Ridley, you can't hurt me if you keep running away, too. It's really not gonna work out in your favor. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no way to get rid of ads entirely on my end. It's all good. I was just saying that you have that line of time pretty much on track as far as I'm aware. Yes, yes, you were hitting me with missiles. Oh no, I'm going to maybe lose 1 E-tank worth of health before I kill you. I remember this fight being so hard when I was young. I don't know how I had so much trouble with this. Considering he literally is just kind of fucking around. Ah, I see you have found the sound alerts. I might actually run out of super missiles, though. Which will be an inconvenience. Worst case, I'll just start hitting him with charged plasma, and that should do fine. Dum-de-dum. Once he stops pretending he's at a Rathalos and comes down here and fights. Yes, yes, good for you. You can fly. Quit flexing the fact that you have wings and stay still. There we go. Now we get a little bit more of a serious situation here. Oh no, I burnt off your wings. Not so fun now, is it? Now, I assume... Oh yeah, I just need to shoot him. And he'll take damage. It's just harder to land hits now, I seem to recall. Yeah. Okay, there is no new scan at this stage of the fight. The fact that he can just kind of sit on your head and damage you that way is kind of a problem. Nope, I didn't have enough missiles for that trick. I was gonna hit him with the flamethrower for shits and giggles, but that's not really gonna work out in our favor right now. that's not really damaging him much. Maybe I'm remembering how to hurt him wrong. Either that or it might just be that big a pain to hurt him. Maybe charged plasma isn't working. Then again, charged shots in general seem to not really be doing anything. The regular shots aren't moving his health by much. Oh well. If this has to take a while, this might have to take a while. There we go, there's the weak point being exposed. And now we can just get him locked in a pattern where we can keep hitting him. Yeah, it takes too long to charge a super missile to hit that. Nope, I jumped the gun. Yep, there goes that. Missed me. Missed me again. Yeah, this really still is kind of a chump fight, though. It's pretty sad. Not that most of Ridley's incarnations are ever super dangerous. They're usually just a bit of a problem. But not the hardest thing in the game, usually. There we go. Ridley's dead. Again. Yeah, I was just having an issue where sometimes I wasn't holding to the side hard enough, so it was treating it as a vertical jump instead of a side dodge. Now, before I go into that, I'm going to go back to the gunship and save so I don't have to fight him again. 'Cause smart idea. Not to mention, the gunship will restock our missiles. Considering we are out of missiles. Now, what'll really impress me is if I manage to do this last bit without losing it all. If I can do the finale in one life, I'll be surprised. Because there's one thing that's been consistently mentioned throughout this whole playthrough that we have not dealt with yet. And that is Metroid Prime itself. And no prizes for anybody who can guess what's down that hole. Yeah. I know how this fight goes, and I'm not gonna be the happiest with the way this plays out. We'll get there. We'll win. Impact Crater. I mean, I've been fighting the game itself the whole way. I'm gonna hit this save station as well, just so we don't have to go through the load screen of getting into the Impact Crater. Now, I seem to recall this stuff actually still hurts. Even though we have the Phazon suit. So we don't want to land in any of that. We do have a little bit of working left to do before we get to the actual fight. Oh yeah, there are Metroids in here too. Anything different about you? You're just a regular Metroid. No, you are special. Fission Metroid. Metroid with the ability to split into two forms. Fission Metroid is a mutant, capable of splitting in two. This split endows the new creatures with invulnerability to most weaponry. This effect is unstable, resulting in a weakness to a type of weapon fire. This vulnerability appears to be random due to the chaotic nature or a Phazon mutation. Get off my head, you little bastard. You look like you'll be vulnerable to that, yes. Now he's split. He's red now, so presumably... Yep. You're purple, so presumably you get hit by that and you're not happy. Yep, there we go. I don't think the Ice Beam just works on these. For fuck's sake. And this is why I don't really like the Ice Beam that much, is it just has that much delay between shots. Well, yeah, but if I don't deal with them, they're still going to be a problem no matter what I do. So if I deal with them, they at least stay going for a little bit. Buy me some time to climb. And here we go with another restock. Because apparently they expected you to be using missiles along the way here. Where is the next satellite? It's on this way. I wonder. Yes, good, that does kill them. Get out of here. So I don't think I need power bombs for this fight coming up, but I might still need them, so I don't want to waste them frivolously. But getting rid of them immediately that way, definitely going to keep our health in better shape. Okay. Oh, I don't like this at all. And that's why. Because this game loves to knock you off of things without your consent as far as the Morph Ball goes. Because they made some of these ledges real weird. And, you know, sometimes the Morph Ball just doesn't grab even though the button is held. Gonna be one of those areas where I lose a lot of health just because game mechanics. And don't you just love when it decides, oh yeah, you wanted to grab the ledge you were already attached to, instead of the clearly intended idea of grabbing the one you're dropping towards. There we go. It finally decided to do what it was supposed to. The same thing I told it to do 4 times in a row. Doing it the exact same way. Because remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And yet here we are. Now, don't eat my frame rate, Metroid Prime. Thanks, I'm probably gonna need it. First and foremost, let's scan the ugly bastard. As soon as I figure out where it ran off to. Hello? I'm going to assume, yeah, I need to chase it. Okay. Now it's purple, so it's probably vulnerable to Wave Beam, but first, Morphology, Metroid Prime, highly evolved Phazon-producing life form. The aberration known as Metroid Prime is the source of Phazon, making it immensely powerful. A genetic flaw makes it susceptible to certain weapons for brief periods. Only its head is truly vulnerable, other attacks are a nuisance. Offensively, Metroid Prime has a number of natural and mechanical weapons at its disposal. These include Ultra-Frigid Breath, multi-missiles, snare beams, and particle wave projectors. Its massive strength and barbed carapace make it lethal in melee combat. Recommend maximum firepower when engaging this enemy. Now, the mechanical weapons it got, it stole from the space pirates over time, as they were trying to contain it. Now, I do have the Wave Buster, so I might want to use it right now. There we go. Now it's Power Beam. Have a super missile, you ugly bastard. Now it runs away again. Ice Beam. Now this is the point where I'm going to regret not getting the beam combo for Ice Beam. His projectile speed's going to be the big issue here. Ah, he froze me. There we go. Ow. Rude. Could you kindly not do that? Back to power mode. Okay. Yeah, I remembered where it was after the fact, more or less. I just didn't worry about it. Because I didn't remember exactly where in Magmor it was, and I don't use the Ice Beam that much. So, wasn't a big concern. It's only really an issue here, because of the fact that it would have been useful for getting past the Ice Beam phases a little quicker. It is going to get a bit harder now that I'm about to run out of missiles. So I can't keep using beam combos to cut through him. But we should be fine. Considering he's almost a half and we're not even close to half our healthy as of yet. Yeah, I see that there are tunnels. I've just not been bothering to make use of them, even though I probably should. to be safer in this fight. It's just a matter of half the time when he's coming forward, I'm off to a side so I don't have a good opportunity to get to those tunnels. Like that. I could have morph balled and went for it, but I couldn't guarantee I was going to get there, so I just wasn't worried about it. Now, that is good advice, though. That is worthwhile advice. What the hell is... No, that's the wrong thing. No, those are just slow-moving projectiles coming my way. Okay. I wasn't sure if they were separate entities or not. The fact that a lot of your shots just kind of hit him and not a weak point is kind of annoying. Thankfully, these provide health, which is going to make this a lot easier. Those divots are really useful in one thing in this form, blocking his ice attacks pretty well. He keeps throwing them down the hole. It's the homing missiles that I'm really having a problem with. Yeah. He more or less is gonna do all the things the other bosses have done, to a degree. No, he did drop missiles, but they're all the way up there, which is a bit of a problem with my current positioning. Fine, give me those. Ow. Fine, you wanna play like that? Taste flamethrower, you bastard! Let those shots get a little bit closer this time so I can actually... Yay! Vision ruining! That's the best mechanic in this game. I can't use any of my visors. Yay! That's always a bit annoying when they just kind of screw with your vision a bit. I don't think that really adds much. I think that's just a nuisance. But I get why they have it. I don't have to like it, though. Oh, that's not great timing. I wanted to pick up the stuff from those shots game. But fine, you want to play it this way, we can play it this way. Definitely getting more aggressive now. Starting to become a problem. Purple. Okay, that time it didn't get stuck in the hole, which is a bit of an oddity. Because it definitely went through the trench, it just apparently curved out of the trench that time. Which I find a little bit strange. Shoot more... No, not more of those. The other ones. The big ones that I can get resources from. Send more of those my way. Yeah, that charge only does like 10, so it's not really an issue. Except when it just sits there and keeps charging. That's a bit of a problem. There we go. Projectiles come to me a bit. Not sure how it didn't hit me that time, but I'll take it. Oh, come on! I'd like to get to be able to control my character for a moment there, video game. Would that be too much to ask? I broke that way too high up. Oh, and now you're not gonna give me any health, huh? Now you're bitter about me complaining? Okay, I see how it is, game. Not him himself. Goddamn pickups. Yeah, I know. We might actually lose this because he's starting to become a pain right here at the end. And it's not actually the end, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering this right anyway. I'm not going to trust it not to just charge again, so I'm just going to wait a second. No, of course. Now it's going to do the other one and be a fucking spammy little shit about that. Yeah, I'm noticing that. And if I was wrestling with the controls less, this wouldn't be a problem. But unfortunately, these controls are not the best for the kind of thing this is doing now. Because it's really kind of hard to manage to switch beams as fast as he's switching forms, and do the morph ball, and fucking keep track. This is getting ugly here at the end of this part. Health while he's stunned. Come on, game, give me You know, I would love to know why that one didn't break. Because I certainly shot it enough times for that one to break. But you'll notice it didn't. And I would like to know why. I'm guessing some part of Metroid Prime's leg got in the way? Because that's the only excuse I can think of for that not being destroyed, instead of destroying me. It's unfortunate because that was very close. But now that I know that my charge shots have a very bad habit of getting stuck on random crap on him instead of actually hitting him, I'm not going to waste my time with those as much. And I'm going to save the beam combos for later instead of trying to rush through the first part with them. And that should solve all of our problems with that fight, more or less. Because that fight's not that bad till he starts going apeshit toward the end there, and just starts spamming everything. Which I'm not sure why they thought that was a good way to go about that. Because I don't know about anybody else, but not being able to have any input on the fight anymore is not a fun way to have a fight going. And once he starts really spamming, you are hard-pressed to keep up and actually be able to do anything in response. Because if in the time it takes for your beam to change mechanically in the game, he has already changed multiple times, I don't know why they thought that was okay. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I definitely wasted a bunch of missiles on beam combos that didn't actually land. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save the beam combos for when he's purple, because that's a guaranteed hit. I don't have to worry about the Wave Buster missing. Whereas the Flamethrower, I did that for fun, and it was way out of range when I used it for half of the missiles it used. So that was just a bad call. But I just like the Flamethrower, so I was gonna give it a damn try. Now to hopefully lose less health doing this. Which, actually, hindsight being 2020. Fuck you and your game mechanics, I'm going through this way. Why do it properly and take a pile of damage when I can hot-foot it across and take 4? But I wanted to do it properly the first time, just to demonstrate how it was supposed to be done. Now we're gonna skip the cutscene, because we've seen it already, and go chase Metroid Prime down the hole. And since I'm not worrying about getting 100% scans, I'm not going to waste the time and health trying to scan it this time. But especially while we have the cover to take advantage of and everything, I should just take it easy in this first part. And then when we have no cover, rush him down. Slight bit of smarter tactical thinking, and that'll basically be enough to win us this part. I'm sure there's a tell exactly when that laser's coming out, but it's really hard to read in among everything else. Because more often than not, my own beam is blocking my vision of that spot to see where the last bit of particles are developing there. Now you're ice. I thought that was gonna fire sooner than it did. Thank you for killing my frame rate, Metroid Prime. Yeah, for having never done this fight myself before, I'm still pretty pleased that I got that much of his health without dying. And part of that was RNG not playing out in our favor because we couldn't get any more health after a certain point. It just kept dropping missiles instead of health. You know, game, I can't really use the dodge mechanic you expect me to be using if you can't let me have lock-on for more than a half a second. Especially when you're just spamming it like it's going out of style. And yeah, unless I'm just standing in these trenches trying to do the morph ball dodges, not really the most practical. Not saying it's not possible, saying it's kind of not great. Want that full heal. There we go. I also think for where they put the hitbox, the way he spazzes around is a bit of a problem. Like, I feel like they might have wanted to widen that space just a little bit, just to keep it a little more consistent actually hurting him instead of just hitting random crap. But maybe that's just me. Because the amount of times my shots have ended up hitting, like, his leg or a part of his face instead of actually hitting the weak point, with no control over it on my part, really, is very frustrating. Yeah, it happens. That's the biggest issue with streaming, is either the streamer's net starts being a problem or a watcher's internet starts falling apart. And it just makes it less of a positive experience for everybody. doing better this time. Now that I know the mechanics a bit better, we are doing a lot better. Not sure what dictates him letting go with that, because sometimes a regular shot makes him stop, and sometimes a super missile doesn't make him stop. Very interesting. Hey, we actually got the dodge for a change. Because we happen to be in the right spot at the right time. Interesting that in ice form he throws poison missiles. Not really sure where the logic there is. That was not your cue to freeze me. Yes, back to beam spam, because that's the fun part. Yes, spawn the things that give me health. Yes. Go. Over that. Hit the right thing, please. Thank you. I think I lost more health than I'm going to gain out of that. Yep, sure did. Oh well. Of course, you changed just in time. Okay, his missiles are just whatever missiles he wants, I think. Not necessarily tied to what form he's in. It is nice when some of his missiles hit the ceiling. That's always pretty good. Come on now. I disagree. That's less than ideal when you get stuck on him like that. As always, super missiles are your friend. Yeah, I know, you're gonna charge and be a problem. Yeah, that's again the controls fighting me about getting anything done. Oh yeah, and fun fact, when your vision's all fucked up like that, you also can't switch beams at all. Oh, come on, you switched mid-shot there, you cheeky shit. Hello there, welcome to the end of the game. This horrible bastard known as Metroid Prime continues to be a pain in my ass. We're not quite done yet, though. In English, please. Because I cannot read that language, so I cannot guarantee anything that you're saying. Core essence of Metroid Prime. The scan indicates that the Phazon energy form of Metroid Prime is invulnerable to all conventional weapons. Only attacks from a Phazon-fused arm cannon will damage it. It generates pools of Phazon when it attacks. Use these to fuel your suit's Phazon weapon system. This entity can also spawn Metroids to assist it in battle, while rendering itself invisible when it does so. This is gonna be the hard part. To clean up some of this Phazon and then get over here. So I think this pool doesn't count. I think I need to use those pools that he's making now. There we go. Where the hell is he, though? Yeah, I have to imagine it's pretty late for you if you're over in the UK. There's one pool. Big question is, where the hell is he? I think he's like on my head. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, gone again. What the hell? This is the annoying part, is finding things with the damn X-ray scope. What the hell? He must literally be like right on top of me. Do I need thermals to see him now? What the hell? Yeah, he was literally right here, but I could not see him for the life of me, no matter what I was doing with my scopes. Interesting. I guess maybe he's normally visible some of the time? It said he was supposed to be invisible, so I reacted accordingly, and then the game told me to go to hell, apparently. Make phase on you, cheeky shit. Make with the phase on, you bastard. I can't kill you without phase on. And this apparently doesn't goddamn count, which is stupid. I'm aware that I need to switch visors, but I can't do anything if I don't have the phase on to go into hyper mode to do damage in the first place. And when he keeps overwhelming your goddamn vision constantly, it's kind of hard to do anything. But that was the problem, is I had no indication of whether I was supposed to use X-ray or thermal at that particular point, since it was switching between the two. And the game gives no feedback as to which one is intended, is the problem with that. So I looked around with X-ray, and by the time I confirmed that there was nothing to be seen with that, we had a different problem. Oh yeah, you know, let's just not have that count for getting rid of it. No, not at all. Why would it? Just die, you lousy shit. Die! I'm now understanding more and more why people say the end of this game is the weakest part of this game. Because this fight's kind of just annoying. Considering I have to wait for him to make phase on to do anything. Which just leads to a lot of hurry up and wait. Which is never a good mechanic. I don't care what anybody says, any mechanic that makes your player waste their time waiting for something to happen rather than having any agency in the fight is not good. Like, I understand him being able to knock me away from the phase-on pools. That's entirely fair. I can understand that. Where the fuck is he now? Like, I can see where the attacks are coming from, but neither of the visors are showing him. Wait, I saw him for a second there. That's all well and good to say, and I agree with you, but understanding to do that in the moment when your controls are not exactly playing ball with you entirely may be less possible than you think. Also, in terms of these Hunter Metroids, it's a lot quicker just to hit them with a single Ice Beam shot and then the other one. The problem I'm running into is the fact that Hyper Mode is a bit of a finicky pain in my ass. There he is. Because the problem is, with the visors on, it's harder to see where the phase on is. to actually stay in the Phazon. We are going to be really close. It's going to come down to whether the game decides to play ball or not on this one. Besides, Hyper Mode also just kills the Metroids, so I can just pop them with that. But he needs to stop being a cheap piece of shit for a second, so I can actually do anything. Oh great, he's summoning the Vision Metroids now. I think we might just lose. Yep. We are about to lose because the game decided to be a shit about it. Die! Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, game? He has 1 hit point, pretty much, and the game is gonna be a piece of shit about it. Are you goddamn joking? We are going to lose because he's just gonna stick to my face with 1 hit point and refuse to make any Phazon. Are you fucking joking? Literally, I had no agency on that. I had no hope of changing that situation, considering he refused to do the only attack that gives me access to a way to hurt him. What designer thought that was an acceptable way of doing things? What designer thought that was okay? Genuinely, I don't fucking understand when people think that that's a good way of going about things. Locking you to 1 attack that RNG could completely decide you don't get to see ever again is not a good way of going about things. Because no matter what I did, he just attached himself to me. So I couldn't even have a prayer of removing him enough to actually take action against him, even if I did get a Phazon pool there. And yes, I'm aware Retro Studios made this. What I'm saying is I want to know which idiot involved with that company thought that was acceptable. And what board passed that through. That's just idiotic. And I know that there's been numerous bosses with an idiotic design like that in the past, but come the fuck on. I got cheated is what happened on that one. I am genuinely angry about that. Because that is not fucking okay. We have now wasted all of the time that we spent on that fight just because the game decided, no, you're not going to get the thing that hurts this anymore. And there were numerous occasions during that fight where he just spent long periods not generating any Phazon for me to use. At least make it a guarantee that he will spawn Phazon. That way you can actually have agency in the fight, instead of having to sit there and accept the fact that you're going to be attacked with no recourse to return and fire. Or at least make it clear or when what is happening, because that fight is just a mess. It's just a muddle of what the hell is going on. Because you have no clear indication as to which visor you need to pursue him, because he's doing the same attack no matter which visor you need, so there's no indication there. I accept the fact you have to search for him with the visor, that's fine. But having 2 different visor choices and having no indication of which one you need just adds a complication to a fight that's already going to not be in the player's favor to begin with. Because you'll have already taken damage getting through the first phase of Metroid Prime. And I'm all for the final fight being hard. I don't mind that it's a multi-phase fight that's actually very difficult. But I think some of their design decisions in making it difficult are not exactly good choices. And I don't want to have to rant about this. But at the same time, I feel like it needs to be said. And my fear when I started this, that I might have been better off never having finished this, I don't think I was right in worrying about that. I think I'll still be happier having finished this. But man, this ending is not... This ending's not great. They could have made this in a less frustrating fashion. Because we've got this first part down pretty well, and the fact that there's no checkpoint in between them, that's fine. I don't mind that. It'd be nice if there was a checkpoint in between these, so you don't have to spend the whole time redoing the first phase all over again, since it's a fairly lengthy first phase. But that's okay. I'm not upset about that. I'm only upset about the fact that we got robbed at the very end. Literally, a magic pixel of health robbed us of winning that fight. Don't get me wrong, I get that it's, in that particular instance, a little unprofessional to have gotten as angry as I did. But I want to be honest with all of you, so I'm going to give you my honest reaction to what they've done here. And hopefully, when I got that upset, it wasn't too loud. I know I was a lot louder than I've been for a fair bit of this. And I tried to hold it back, but I cannot guarantee I held it back enough to not be loud. Okay. Because while I do have some compression on this to prevent that from going too out of hand, I couldn't guarantee that I had enough for that one. I have had so many experiences like that over my life that that's as far as I get anymore, as far as being upset about that. Of course, now he's being a real pain in the ass, so that's upsetting. Hopefully it wasn't too bad to repair after that. Yeah, I figured it was broke after that. It was just a matter of whether you could get it fixed after it broke. Okay. Okay. Yeah, depending on the damage, I could see how it would end up being irreparable. Especially if you were genuinely angry. I could easily see it being completely destroyed. Yeah. Some would say there's no such thing, but absolutely I can see there being too much Metroid. lot has happened since then, that's for sure. Yeah, I can't imagine that that was an easy copy to find, all things considered. Because I know they didn't make that many. Because Metroid's already considered niche to begin with, and the Prime series was niche upon niche. Purple. Okay, the Wave Buster does not affect the things in between. Got it. I was hoping the Wave Buster was gonna hit those for me so I didn't have to stop targeting him. Just die! There we go. It's always a bit of a sticker shock when it comes to gaming, really just in anything gaming related to a point. Especially anything Nintendo, because I swear they never make enough of any of their stuff. Never enough copies of their games, never enough of their consoles. Just need him to actually do the things I need him to do, instead of just spamming the fire. Just make a Phazon pool somewhere. Somewhere, anywhere. Yeah, exactly. Okay, making the Phazon pool there. There he is. I do have a copy of Dread, and I did start it. But I don't use my Switch that much, so it hasn't seen as much play as it should. Yes, you're invisible. That's all well and good for you. Could you make another Phazon pool, please? There it goes. Now where the hell did he go, though? Here we go with this problem again. You go, hey, where is he? Oh, he's right on your fucking head. Like, that's another problem, is the fact that he can just camp on top of the stupid Phazon pool he makes is really not a great decision. Because with the camera of this game, you can't really look straight up or anything. Hyper mode disposed of them. Where the fuck is he now? There he is. But I keep getting bumped out of it and having to waste time. Why is it being glitchy? I'm standing in the pool. I can see the pool at my feet. goes where it's most annoying is where he goes. Let's be real here. It's just like me, he's trying to win the fight. So he's gonna be a piece of shit to do it. No, between the Virtual Console and backwards compatibility and things like that, I will say Nintendo did pretty well about making their older stuff somewhat accessible. There's still a lot that isn't very accessible, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. There he is. Not that I can get to do anything, because Hyper Mode's being finicky. Could you kindly actually activate, you stupid mechanic? I'm literally standing in the pool, taking damage, trying to get Hyper Mode to activate. But since it doesn't want to be consistent because I'm bumping into him standing on it, it's problematic. Wasting half of the pool's time because I can't actually make the mechanic functional. Because the game designers were dropped on their head at this part of the game, apparently. Now the game's also going to do that thing it loves to do where no health drops anymore, because it's going to keep dropping missiles to make up for the fact that I'm missing missiles. Yes, yes. I didn't use the 3DS that much, so I'm not missing out too much on them shutting that eShop down. But when they shut the Wii one down, that was a bit of a thing. And where the hell did he go? No, I saw him. So annoyed at this fight still, though. Yeah, the Wii U one's gone at this point, too. Where the hell is he? There he is. Oh, we're gonna do this again, huh? The magic pixel? Okay. Just make one more pool, you lousy shit. Literally just need you to make a pool of Phazon and this fight will be over. There you go. Metroids are gonna try to get in the way, and that's annoying. Ah, get out of here. Of course, now my vision's all fucked up. Where the hell is he? There he is. There we go. I don't know why it wouldn't let me lock onto him there, but at least he's dead. Ugh. He's gonna claim the Phazon suit.
Flawless victory.
We got there. We certainly got there. Of course, it's a Metroid game. Gotta have an escape sequence. Thank you. Thankfully, we don't actually have to play this escape sequence. That's 3 games beaten this month. I will say, on the whole, my feelings about this game didn't change. 90% of the game is great. There's a couple items to get that are a huge pain. I'm not the biggest fan of the fact you have to go back for a bunch of the artifacts unless you have foreknowledge, which the first time you're playing the game you're not going to have that foreknowledge unless you're using a guide, in which case why the hell are you doing it? Finale, not so great. Could have been a hell of a lot smoother, could have been just as difficult without the bad angles of some of that design. In the end, it is what it is. It was a game from 2002. There's gonna be jank in the design and some issues. That's fine. We were robbed, but at the same time, I could have regained control of that situation if I had kept my head there. But either way, we got it done the second time around. Now, the only question in my mind is, do I want to start Echoes now, or do I want to just stop for the day, even though it's not even 4 hours? That's the iffy one. There's also Mystery Answer C if I start a different game entirely. So I have no end of options as far as that goes. What I think is I'm gonna let these credits keep going, grab a drink, and I'll be back in a moment. Let my stiff leg actually get a chance to not be so stiff. And away we go. Away from that hellhole of a planet. Of course, you know, off to the next hellhole of a planet. Yeah, 64% complete sounds about right. I left a lot of energy tanks on the table, I left a lot of missile tanks behind, and I only grabbed one power bomb expansion, and that was an accident that I even got that. Hard mode ain't happening. Hard mode of the rest of the game? That'd be fine. Doing hard mode Prime? No. Hard mode Prime would just be a nightmare. I'm gonna disappear the capture for a second to check something, and then we will, I guess, start Echoes. I'm probably gonna cut that for the YouTube upload later, but I can easily do that. So I don't know if I'll actually put the two of those back to back. Wait, do I even have? Let me find it. So I think I did something stupid. And I could do that. Because so much of my stuff is organized, but I think I might have put that somewhere different because I was planning to do something with that idea. It's not in the same spot as the rest of the files. Of course, if I still had a CD-ROM drive on this PC, I could just literally go grab my disc of Echoes, which is on that shelf right there, and stick it in the machine. But, you know, that's a whole other thing. I have misplaced the file. It's in here somewhere. I just gotta find it. Sometimes that takes a second. So what I'm gonna do is go to a proper break for like 5-10 minutes and come back, and then we'll continue. So I figured out what I did with it, and it's honestly kind of stupid what I did, but it makes perfect sense. I moved it into the same place I had the randomizer set up for 1 and 2, and I'd remembered to move the original game back to where it belonged after the fact, but I forgot to move this one back. So I couldn't figure out where the hell I put it for a bit there. But we're all good now. And honestly, a few minutes to decompress and get rid of the frustration was not a bad thing. Now, I cannot promise that there won't be a couple odd issues with echoes in this current setup. And if it causes issues, I have been told about a better setup for emulating this. So, need be, I will make adjustments to solve that problem. But for the time being, we'll make do with this. I don't need to do anything with any of that. Just gonna do a little bit of fiddling with that so the music's clearer. Because the sound effects are gonna be pretty standard, just bang 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 noises constantly. So, not really gonna have anything too notable happening there. I do prefer Echoes to Prime 1. I would be happy to agree on that. It introduces it smoother, it has mostly better mechanics. There's a mechanic or two that we're going to get into that I'm not the biggest fan of, but overall it feels like a better game. We're off to Planet Aether to find out what the hell happened to some Federation boys. Because as usual, they can't handle a damn thing on their own. And the title in game should be updated just fine, so after a refresh it should be fine on everybody's end. If anybody sees anything unusual after that, do let me know and I will fix it. And the weird black space above my camera is where the chat would normally be, but Stream Elements is still acting funky. So my chat overlay is still currently broken. And I just haven't had a moment to fix it, or the energy to fix it. Excellent. Meanwhile, we're kind of in a weird storm, getting knocked out of the air. Because not all is well with this planet. Safe to say a lot is wrong with this planet. But coming in for a landing reasonably intact. Because this gunship's made out of stern stuff. Got some real weird frame rate. I'm probably going to have to make a lot of adjustments before the main part of the playthrough happens next time. Oh yeah, getting bad drops every time. That's concerning. Houses a power grid. They all house a power grid. Statue's motivator unit is functional, but requires power to operate. The power beam can't energize the statue. And I just like this screen here, where it shows you your research percentages and the types and everything. It's much nicer. Starship Hunter class gunship, vessel registered to Samus Aran. Your ship has been damaged, auto repair function initiated. You can return to your ship to recharge energy, reload weapons, and save progress in the game. Oh yeah, and the thing I meant to scan, which was this. Just big old acid sacks that you just pop to get out of here. Yep, that frame rate is rough. Wow. Something definitely changed in the way this one renders compared to 1, and it is making this setup really mad. Need a better translator to go that way. Which, I know they did a lot of different stuff with the particle effects in this one versus the first game, so I'm not surprised that the frame rate's being a bit dodgy at the moment. I'll clean that up for next time. Terminated bioform scan complete. Codex genome match splinter. Source of termination, inhalation of industrial-grade pesticide, toxic elements still present in local atmosphere. Maintain suit lockdown for effective life support. Because, you know, gas bad. This is a Federation gate. You have to make it explode in order to get rid of it. Or, you know, we can just use our scanner to open parts of it. Transfer local bioforms. Of note, we start with the Morph Ball, unlike in some games. Splinters. Converted cargo pod gate. Move one of the nearby panels scanned. Okay, here is said nearby panel. There it is. Now, I will say, I seem to recall Echoes being harder than Prime. So that's going to be something worth keeping in mind. Casualty report, 3 troopers lost. They were unable to open Gate A1 when a gas trap was released and could not escape to safety. Lock malfunction is to blame. Uh-huh, you didn't assassinate some of your own troopers to get rid of them. Nope, not at all. Now, considering how much better this looks also, it's a safe bet that that's part of why this is running a little finicky. Now we know the general area of this. Don't worry about the fact that it says light map up there. Everything is fine. There's not going to be any other maps. Nope, not at all. Not in the slightest. I only got to the latter half of this game. I did not finish this one. That doesn't seem great. You guys are dead. Terminated bioform scan complete. It's a standard human. He died of cardiac arrest. Well, like... No. Morphology. Worker Splinter. Drone of the Splinter Hive. Low threat target generates webbing for use in its duties. That's always the way. You can get very deep into something and go very far, and then it just hits you at the right time to play something else. And then you just never come back. Friendly fire killed that guy. he was poisoned. He's being digested. "30 individual attackers caused blunt trauma." Jesus. He didn't have a good day. Full level energy shield, of course. It's a hell of a thing just how much detail they put into all the little things around here. Galactic Federation Marine Corps Personal Log Entry GSGT-C Bennett. Something's wrong with the log system in this section. They failed twice, locking us out until someone came along to let us in. If it happens again while we're playing bait for those things, well, at least we'll go out fighting, instead of hiding in the control area. I know there's probably a bunch of missable scans in the early part of this, just like there were in Prime 1, but I'm not going for 100%, so not really going to stress about it too much. I'll be alright. I don't like this plan. This hive is a small portion of a larger network. There may be dozens of hive systems like this across the planet. They may all be linked. Destroying this one may buy us time, but it will also provoke the other hives into attacking. See, that guy's smart. He understands that those are not individual concepts, necessarily. Panel is offline. We've got a morph ball underneath this in order to get anywhere. Attempts to block enemy access with shields meant they just dug under it. Oh, now that's a different body right there. Unknown bioform, 0 life signs. Scans indicate a target was recently terminated. 242 wounds from trooper high energy weapons detected. They put a lot of work into getting rid of that guy. Now, I'm pretty sure, taking recent in practice with Prime 1 into account, we should be fine for the parts of Echoes we're going to get to today. Later parts of Echoes might get a bit iffy. We'll see how that plays out. The Seng reporting. I've installed one of those ship reserve power cells here. It's holding so far, but too much activity could knock it offline. I hope we don't come to that. More dead splinters. There's a lot of mess here. Yep. They're just hanging up their food. That's what we came over here for. This bomb slot. Standard hit bomb slot with bomb to make puzzle happen. Which makes you really wonder how they would handle without Samus's morph ball, which they don't have. Also, hope you like zombies, because in all practical purposes, that's what these guys are now. Morphology, Dark Trooper, deceased Grand Federation Trooper. Our biosigns indicate terminated life signs within this trooper, and the presence of an unknown biomass. Oh, frame rate. Oh, frame rate. There we go. They have been put back at rest. But of course, it's never that simple. It's an interesting idea to have just a bioform scooping up dead bodies. Used to puppet around. And this is exactly the game I was thinking of when I was playing Soldiers before, and a similar mechanic was being used there. Oh no, we found more! Whatever shall we do? The answer? Blast them. As with everything, blast it. All problems can be solved with violence in this universe. There we go. Easily disposed of. Like, going directly from Prime 1 to 2, you can see all the little differences. Like how the minimap is actually a bit clearer to look at than the minimap of Prime 1 was. Oh no. That's not me, that's evil me. Whoosh. Scan complete. Unknown dimensional anomaly. Anomaly seems to be a dimensional rift. Target destination unknown. Dead life sign. Cardiac arrest due to electrocution. Is ensnared in a network of live wires. There's leading from an inactive power core. That's why you don't chew on live wires, kids. Evidence suggests target was caught in a power cell explosion, cellular breakdown from radiation exposure, present in 72% of target biomass. Oof. Oh yeah, and for those not familiar, get used to the descriptions of some of these scans being a lot grimmer than the scans from Prime 1, because they definitely took the gloves off for telling you how badly something got destroyed here. Gate will not move from current position. Well, guess our only option is to jump into the weird anomaly. Whee! What could possibly go wrong? The answer is a lot's gonna go wrong. And yeah, no, there's not gonna be any actual kids here. They are not allowed here. Anyone found to be under the required age to be on Twitch will be removed. Now look, you're drinking Phazon. That's probably not great. You're also really fast. That's also not great. That's a problem. Pretty sure that was holding up the thing that was saving my life right now. These things look hungry. I don't think we want to be here. And so we get knocked back through the portal, having suffered some pretty severe damage, and then the portal collapses. Doesn't it, though? Doesn't it just look so familiar? And the figure we were pursuing probably also looks a bit familiar. And the fact that we've just lost all of our equipment probably also feels very familiar. saw a weird notification, wanted to check while that was all going on. Interesting how a completely different planet has telluric alloy on it as well, but such a pity, we don't have bombs anymore. Can't bomb that open. Gonna have to go through the other tube. Oh, more undead, oh no! Thankfully we still have the charge beam, unlike Prime 1. They didn't take that away from us. But it wouldn't be a Metroid game if we didn't lose half of our powers. They gotta make you work for them all again. Yep, he's still just as dead as he was before. There we go, first save point of the game. Power relays connected, elevator unit online, step into the hologram as usual. Yes, the game just told me that game. You don't need to tell me two different ways that if I step in the hologram, the elevator moves. There's a lot of nice detail in how these work, too. You can actually watch the mechanisms move and everything. Well, still don't understand what these doors do. Still can't read alien speak. Standard Mark IV gate. Same thing as before. Secure crates made out of really stern stuff. Is that a range? It's a bridge. Not much to know about bridges. That's a beetle, known as a Kraly. Morphology: green Kraly, omnivorous hunter-gatherer, simple-minded creature, patrols turf in search of nourishment, low threat index, avoid physical contact. Thanks, game. Thanks for telling me what I've already been doing. It's a heavy transport crate. It has to be moved, like with that winch up above it. Yeah, I wonder what this panel's gonna do. Such puzzle, much complicated. Still don't know what these mean. I was reading that. Morphology: Splinter. Splinters are aggressive and dangerous in numbers. Their light armor is no match for your weapons, however. These are the warrior variants, as opposed to the workers. Well, not exactly the warrior variants, but the non-worker variants. Destroyed Splinter Cocoon. Compromised hibernation structure. This cocoon has been heavily damaged. Only remnants of the cocoon shall remain. I was trying to scan the cocoon before it popped, but those are kind of a pain to scan, as once you get close to them, they release what's in them. So, slightly problematic. It's gonna take some getting used to not having the space jump anymore. I keep trying to double jump and I can't. Bridge lock armor disengaged. But see, mechanics like this make sense for the troopers to be able to do since they have high energy weapons that can shoot similar to our arm cannon. It's the bomb locks that don't make any damn sense to have around. Because as we know from the space pirates attempting to reverse engineer it, nobody's really been able to figure out Morph Ball tech so far. And usually people get mangled and turned into the really nasty messes trying. PFC M. Veroni. I think Haley's losing it. He talks to himself all the time and he won't sleep. He almost shot me on watch the other night. I think he thought I was one of those things. I talked to the doc about taking him off the line, and he told me we need all the help we can get. That's true, but if he goes berserk and kills a bunch of us, that won't really be very helpful. As you can see, things have not been going great for these troopers. They've been under constant pressure from something. And I think we can all guess that it's not the splinters that they're having this much trouble with. And yeah, we do only have the one line of health at the moment. We've already scanned one of those. So we will have to be somewhat cautious. And it looks like the worst of the frame rate issues are calming down. So that's good news. And that is the cargo container we sent on a journey before. Further operations might lead to failure. Interesting. Big old blast shield. Little Splinter wants to be a pain in the butt. For him. I'm more than likely going to get myself in trouble at least once because I'm going to be so used to having all of that health and being able to ignore damage. And we are going to get slapped for it at some point. Without question. There we go. Morphology, Splinter Cocoon. Protective structure for sleeping splinters. Destroying this structure will eliminate the splinter inside, but will also alert other splinters nearby. Now what I can do, if I aim this right, is pop 2 for 1, and have less splinters to deal with. Not that these things are a threat to begin with, but it makes it more convenient clearing them out. Industrial winch engaged. Snap. Well, guess that's a problem. When in doubt, just break things. I'm going to be flying mostly on autopilot and seeing how well original memory of this game from slightly less long ago than Prime 1, but still very long ago. You are cleared to proceed. But of course, gates are going to shut behind us as soon as this gate opens. Oh no, more splinters. Initiating automated distress signal. Now, admittedly, the actual distress signal is not as much of a use to us, but the fact that that's now in motion is going to have a use for us at some point. Transmission failed due to atmospheric interference. Because there's still currently a weird dark energy storm going on around this planet, so it's gonna be kind of hard to get anything done with that. PFC Baruda. We'll be making our stand here. The engineer tells me there's no way we'll get at the ship's engines online, and the atmospheric interference is scrambling our distress beacon. If anyone reads this, Know that we did our duty and fought well. They tried their best. Yeah, the signal auto shuts down now because it can't do anything. These guys are gonna get possessed. And you can't hurt them until they finish being infested. I would have liked to scan those bodies before they died, but, well, they probably didn't have any new information on them anyway. May as well scan that turret while it's killing the splinters. Mechanism, Growler turret, class turret, and automated defense system. Lightly armored gun used for point defense. Fast as targets can evade its tracking systems. Hint hint, dodge. Go, no more turret. As long as you're quick with the lock on, most things are very easy to hit in this series. But I appreciate the sentiment. Unable to scan target, local interference blocking scan visor. Recommend scanning object from close range to counter the interference. Otherwise known as, we're not going to let you scan it from this side. You have to actually go around and go into our trap. Specialist Angseth. This is ridiculous. I can outshoot half the men here and I'm stuck on monitor duty. I didn't join up to stare at a hollow screen. This wouldn't happen to Samus Aran. She'd be out there taking care of business, not pushing buttons and sending reports. Some people think the bounty hunter life's so much more glamorous than it really is. I'm over here fixing all your crap so I can actually get anywhere. And your doors don't even work. Can't jump that high. Oh hey, a ship. GSF tier. And her class as patrol ship used to transport Galactic Federation Marines. Vessel has sustained heavy combat damage. A lot of dead people here. Now we'll get to see what happened. Date cycle 070142. A lot of information, couldn't read fast enough. While patrolling the Dasha system, we engaged an unknown space pirate frigate. It's of course the space pirates. The enemy frigate was crippled and crashed on the planet Aether. We followed the pirates, but our ship was damaged by a storm as we entered Aether's atmosphere. And there they go, running off. They sent a lot of men here. Heavy magnetic activity during the storm disabled our comm systems. Upon landing, we split into 2 units, one to set up an ops space and one to chase the pirates. Each unit was doing fine, no problems. Until they appeared. Then things got very Starship Troopers for a bit. I never actually heard that voice line before. I never noticed that. I thought that was all just gestures and such, but there's actually voice lines. You'll notice they're not your normal splinters. They look an awful lot like those things from the Dark Dimension we were just in. And now you know the rest of the story. They did their best. But unfortunately, everything they had was no way capable of handling this threat. Data terminal inactive. It's now been damaged. Captain Exeter. Yeah, they're a bit spooky. I'm beginning to think it was a real bad idea going down there. Reeves was right. That hive is just one of many. It was stupid to stir a hornet's nest, especially when you plan on sleeping under it. Yeah, you know, that logic tracks. You don't wanna kick the hornet's nest right next to you. Lieutenant Corporal Brode. Man, I hope that is the only breeding ground for these things. If there's more, we're in big trouble. We had hard enough time taking that one out of commission. I almost ran out of ammo. I never run out of ammo. Well, you certainly did now. And life. Private First Class Haley. I hear them everywhere. They're coming. Can't sleep. Ever. They'll eat me. Eat. And that's the one they were talking about going a bit crazy. And judging from that log, yeah, they were not having a great time with this whole situation. They got a bit broke. Specialist Triplet. Sarge says those splinters remind him of some killer bug he saw on another planet once. All I know is the things are fast and take a lot to drop. Pretty soon we'll have to go to bayonets. Everyone's low on ammo, even Brode. He's the stingiest grunt I know. Private First Class Milligan. Rhoda lost the bet, so he switched watch duty with me. I figure this section is nice and safe and boring, which suits me just fine. Let those other pugs guard the hot zone. I hold on. Wait, oh, dead. What's interesting is they have a log like that, calling out a halt, yet we know what happened here. You wouldn't be telling a bug to halt, so what the hell killed him? Private First Class Craney. Last night at Chow, Angseth started talking about some bounty hunter and how she blew up a planet full of space pirates. I told her I didn't believe in fairy tales like that, and she took it personal. I just find it hard to believe that one person took out an entire space pirate base, that's all. If she wants to believe in this Samus or Bigfoot or Santa Claus, she can. I mean, at this point, we've now blown up, technically by the timeline, 2 space pirate bases? Potentially 3? Yeah, the big box is over here. This is where we get at something, but I hadn't gotten around to that point yet. I was trying to gather all the lore to keep it all on a nice, convenient line. This is where everybody was sitting. And all their duties. Which, this is a nice touch, that they actually gave everybody jobs. And actually fit personalities pretty well to jobs. And then you've got the grunts over here who have no job, they're just troopers. Access to map station. When I was tinkering with the randomizer for this a while ago, I ended up with one of the last things you get in this game. Right here where we're about to get at something. Because the spawn here just happened to end up shuffling. And to be backwards, pretty much. Commander Starling, pilot. And that's where Captain Exeter was. The commanding officer. We made sure word got out, mostly. Now that we broke open the big box, we get our missiles back. The first of many things we need to get our hands back on. And that's why I didn't grab that yet, is because, surprise, bad things happen. Morphology, Dark Splinter, Darkling possessed insectoid predator. The insect symbiote within the splinter augments its strength and durability, threat level raised. I could use missiles on these, but charge beam shots take them out just fine. And there we go. Definitely gonna have to do some tinkering though, because that teleporting in animation did terrible things to the frame rate for a minute. Definitely gonna be worth a check. Don't worry, this was cursed long before or anybody had a hand on it other than me. I did plenty of cursing of my own. Powered art. I think we need to just go back to that blast door now, because I don't see any way up from here at the moment. Yeah. Now, there's also a blast door up there. But we can't get there right now. Now, you might be thinking, okay, how do we get through this now? As soon as I stop hitting the wrong buttons, you'll find that that doesn't work either. Yeah, you know, you gotta send the extra creepy stuff. Now, I could have swore regular missiles were actually enough to break these, but for some reason that is apparently not accurate. I guess maybe there is something over here I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe we can jump up here and I'm just being foolish. No, that ain't working. Do I jump up on this side and it works? Nope. Okay. Obviously missing something. Make it up here. Nope. We can't open this either. Now I probably climb up back here somewhere. No. Interesting. Assuming I'm not meant to scan that and have something happen. Because why would I be scanning it from down here? Oh, I see. There's a hole in the ship I forgot about. I knew there was something, I just needed to find it again. Because I sidetracked, because I thought that I could use the missiles to go back through the gates, so I didn't go through the ship, and then Brain forgot about the spot in the ship. Because we are meant to go through this blast door first. Which I'm admittedly not sure how that hole in the ship ended up getting there, all things considered with what happened. Tried first class Denny's. The only one left, managed to get out of the hive, but when I got to the ship, everyone was gone, dead. I'm headed for that alien building we saw earlier. Maybe someone can help me there. Wait, something's moving. Hello? Dead. Indicates that there's a control system somewhere, but it may be somewhere or somewhen else. Oh hey, that's a familiar sound. War wasps are on this planet too. Cunning aerial hunter. Airborne insect equipped with a venomous stinger capable of shearing steel. Target can fire or blasts of energy at foes. These are more advanced war wasps than what we're used to. They, for some reason, have energy blasts. Storage device. Most of the material used to make it are indigenous to Aether. It is sturdy but not indestructible. There's also a panel on the floor, which is another one of those kinetic orb cannons. There's another wasp upsetting me. Because presumably there's a nest of them somewhere around here. And more on the concept of, if no one else has morph ball technology, why are there morph ball cannons everywhere? There's the War Wasp Hive, which, since we have missiles earlier this time, we can immediately dispose of these and not have to deal with that constantly. So that's nice. Oh. Oh yeah, and there's of course a scan for having destroyed them too. Yes, you're mad because I killed so many of your hives. Oh no. It's almost as if you could rebuild them quite easily. When I leave. Because you're going to rebuild them as soon as I leave. You little blighters are annoyingly resilient like that. Wall section is structurally unsound. Explosive damage may cause it to weaken. As I hit the wrong button again. Okay, I can't get rid of that completely. We need to throw Morph Ball at it. Using the kinetic cannon over there. Can't break that right now. Does not like looking up there because there's a lot of stuff floating around. Makes the game very unhappy. Where's the activation? Ow, duh. They love tucking things in little nooks right next to where you need to be in this one. There we go, bust right through the wall. Yep. Look, more dead people. Except different kinds of people now. Bioscan complete. Target has been dead for 8 cycles. Trace amounts of unknown chemical present in target. It has an effect similar to mummification on dead biomatter. There are further analysis required to determine chemicals' effect on living biomatter. Power relay active. Elevator works just fine. Interesting way of designing elevators, just having them launch like that. Really kind of concerning when you think about the possibility that it may not quite make it all the way up. Local save beacon is active. Thank you for pointing out the save point that is like 2 feet away from a video game. Bioscan complete. Target has been dead for 8.1 cycles. Target size and muscle mass indicate its heavy combat training. It is likely that this was a warrior of some kind. The lack of gear, armor, or weapons is curious. Perhaps they were taken by others of its kind. 8.1. Despite the presence of local animals, target corpse has not been disturbed. The scans suggest the presence of a toxic biochemical within the target. This may explain the lack of carrion feeding. Well, it indicated where save points were in the first game as well, it just didn't do it very often. Those are really hard to scan because they fly away so fast. Power system. My basic door systems remain online. Caloric alloy. Which is, of course, not missiles. It is morph ball bombs. But we need to get our bombs back before we can do anything with that. And this is why there was a save point. It's because we have to deal with a hive. Not just any hive, it's gonna be a very infested hive. This game's equivalent to the War Wasp hive that was for the missile launcher last time. Easily disposed of, and now the real fight begins. The Alpha Splinter. Alpha male of the war pack. Gigantic predator, very swift and strong, uses ramming attacks to defeat its foes. Remember that blunt force trauma that was mentioned on some people? Yeah, this is why. I keep hitting the damn wrong button now. And there's a bit of a funky thing with the lock-on when he jumps. So half the time you're not actually going to be able to dash in order to dodge him, which is problematic. And now it's only going to get worse because he's about to become a bit more of a problem. Dark Alpha Splinter. Morphology, Dark Alpha Splinter. Alpha male of a Darkling Warpack. Basically the same thing, except stronger. Now the real fight begins. Except, honestly, I think the Dark Alpha Splinter is easier to deal with because he wastes time firing those shots that, unless you're sitting there waiting to take a hit, aren't gonna hit you. And it's a lot easier to stay locked onto this one. So really, if anything, they made him weaker. Or by infesting him. Which works just fine by me. Because if we had kept on fighting the regular one, I would have died. And that was the symbiote that stole one of our items. So now we're getting that back. Unknown item acquired. Oh wait, it wasn't one of ours at all. Now we have something new. Or do we? Answer is, we don't know what the hell that was yet. Magnetic stasis chambers. The answer to what that was is going to be a little bit complicated. We'll get to that when we get to that.
I'm in danger.
Right now, none of those doors work. I guess we're going back. How does it display it in the inventory? Because I don't remember if I ever actually looked. Missile expansion. Aria suit, of course. Charge beam. Explains the power combos. Missile launcher. It's not actually in the inventory yet. Yeah, we'll start meeting some actual living, breathing beings here soon. Right. That's what's weird about this, is that they switched which side of the room was open, but you didn't actually really see that. That's what made that one a little funky. Do not be afraid. I am Umos, Sentinel of the Luminoth. Please listen and hear our world's peril. Long ago, a cosmic object fell to our planet Aether, exploding with great force. A rift was torn in time and space, and a strange power flowed over the world. Because, you know, it's gotta be a meteor again, fucking up everything. Where once there was one Aether, there were now two. One of light and one of shadow, each existing in its own dimension. It was the end of peace on Aether, for a new race was born that day on the Dark World. One filled with hate and terrible power. They are the Ing. The Ing are creatures of shadow and darkness, knowing nothing of peace or mercy. For decades we stood against them, yet now we lie on the verge of defeat. When Dark Aether was born, our planetary energy was divided, half for our world and half for theirs. Should one world gain control of this energy, the other will perish. Before you arrived, the Ing had stolen a device from us, one that collects planetary energy. With it, they have weakened our planet to the verge of collapse. But fortune smiled upon us this day, for the energy transfer module is now bonded to you. That is the mysterious thing we got. With it, you can help us restore our world. Or, you know, we could just tip the balance the other way if we really wanted to. You're our only hope, Samus. Should we fall, the Ing will look to the stars for new planets to ravage and conquer. Your species could be among their next victims. The Ing have taken our energy to 3 temples on Dark Aether. Find those temples, and transfer the energy from them to our own. I have updated your map system with the location of another temple. There is knowledge there that can help you on your way. We've also updated your translator module. You can now access devices and doors coded with violet holograms. Many lands are now open to you. Prepare well for your journey, and the Ing now know you possess the energy transfer module. They will try to recover it at all costs. Return to me once you have restored the energy to a temple. I will aid you as I can. Now, the thing is, presumably, since he is of the species that this language is written by, why doesn't he just teach us the whole damn language, instead of only giving us bits and pieces? May the light of Aether shine upon you. Now, the obvious answer, of course, being game mechanics, but on the other hand, it's like, really? Come on now. There's the energy controller that we were feeding. And let's scan our friend here, Umos. Luminoth Umos, indigenous sentient species of planet Aether. Subject is Umos, a sentinel of the Luminoth, guardian of his species and this sacred temple. And now we can start getting log entries from the Luminoth. It is told that the Luminoth were not born of Aether, but of the stars. In the early days, we roamed the greatness of the void, bathing in the glorious light of 1,000 stars. We met a vast number of enlightened minds, the Nikran, the Yella, and the Shozo among them. Each of them we found had claimed a homeworld and formed a deep bond with it. In time, we decided to do the same. Okay. Oh, the fact that we attract the moths, yeah. Because we have a light of our own. You can actually see this in a couple places. Basically, anywhere you see those, you'll actually be able to see that happen. It's a nice little touch. Now you'll note that violet information won't let us back through the door we came in from. Pathway to Aegon. Aegon sector lies this way. And it's also the only way we can go. So, off we go. Light Flyer. Mechanism, Light Flyer, light generating flyer. Target mechanoid is quite durable. Can fire bursts of energy in combat. Easily swatted by missiles, though. Charge shots also deal with them, but my first memory was of hitting them with missiles, so that was my first reflex. Now we go to our first new area of the game. Because that temple's going to serve as a bit of a hub for us for a couple places. Let this gateway forever protect our sacred temple. May you find enlightenment and peace. Now, while I say it's a new area, it's not actually much new yet. Because this just leads back to where we were with the control systems for the winch and everything. But we will be going somewhere new very shortly. And get used to the Ing showing up very frequently. If you dispose of the things in the area that shows up in quickly enough, you can prevent them from having any hosts to inhabit. But if you don't get them quick enough, well, here you go. Here's some Darklings we used to fight. As you'll notice, the form that we were shown of the Ing is not the same as what we're seeing here. That's because their bodies cannot be sustained in this world, particularly well, and they prefer, for the most part, to possess the bodies of others. And that's our first energy tank there. Alright, there's a portal over there. Now, I will say one thing of note. The next session of this game won't be till next week, because I have other things scheduled for this week. Specifically, I will be taking, as usual, tomorrow and the next day off, and then I will most likely be carrying on with the schedule as indicated beyond that. So next Monday will be the first full session of Echoes, and then Tuesday will probably, if I had to hazard a guess, we'll probably end up like halfway through the game by that point. Because I seem to recall that Echoes is longer, as well as more difficult. So it will probably take us more streams to finish this than it did Prime 1. We can now scan this and open it. Off to the Aegon Wastes. Chief. Final entry, a warrior Chiefum. Their army swells, beasts and rogue machines join the ranks of the Horde, all eager to bring death to the Luminoth. The Ing sent these new additions to the industrial site to do battle with me, while they watched from safety, cowardly mongrels. My only regret in death is that I did not live to see the day of their defeat. May it come soon. As would be expected of creatures of shadow, they prefer subterfuge and other means of dealing with their problems rather than direct confrontation. Access to Aegon Wastes granted. And of course, there's this wide open site of all kinds of desolate waste over here. There's also this. A piece of lore that took me forever to find when I played this game originally and was actually trying to get all the logs at that time. Our search for a home took us through the cosmos. For many a great cycle we roamed, yet a place to call our own eluded us. In time we began to despair, feeling the search was in vain. We considered remaining among the stars until a scout returned with news of a world unlike any other. When we beheld Aether for the first time, so great was her beauty that we forsook the stars forever to live upon her surface. From that day forth, the Luminoth were of Aether, our blessed paradise. Because from any other angle other than standing out here on the edge, you're not going to see that. This is also another place where I believe the moths will come to you if you sit it around for a bit in ball form. I thought they would actually react to us here. Doesn't seem like it, though. But if you look over here, you'll notice a missile expansion just kind of chilling. There's a lot of very obvious hiding spots in this one. But there's also plenty of real wild thinking in some of the item spots. Just like most of these games, really. Lumite. Morphology Lumite. Photosynthetic flying insectoid. Relatively harmless in shadows, powerful and invisible in the light. I don't know, it seems pretty visible to me. But I guess it's kind of shady here. Target has been dead for 1.1 decacycles. Body has been badly damaged by sandstorms and heat exposure. Judging from the number of blast wounds, the target was dead long before the desert got to it. Presumably killed by those Lumites. Sandgrass, indigenous strain of grass adapted to desert climate. Plant requires no moisture to survive, relying exclusively on solar energy for sustenance. And there's also some little, like, sand grasshopper things scurrying around. And our first real look at the Aegon Wastes itself. Complete with worms. Morphology, sand digger, or desert-based tunneling bioform. Extremely well armored, target exposed eyes to damage this creature. Also just spits acid at you. But once you pop the eye, it'll flip around and you gotta pop the other eye. Once they're both gone, it'll die. Rather dramatically. Yeah, these were the sand bats I was trying to scam before. They just kind of hang out here, so they're easy to get. Morphology, sand bats. Small airborne predator pack. Contact with targets can cause minor damage. Targets travel in flying swarms. That's a yellow scan, so we can't do that. Structural analysis complete. Structural integrity of Brimstone object at critical. Brimstone being something we can throw missiles at. Or not. Could have swore Brimstone was missiles, but maybe I need to hit it from a different angle for it to count. So I do know this and the other Prime games get a little mad when you fire from wacky angles at things. Well. You're not going to see an alert for it right now, but in the chat and in my log, we can certainly see that something has just happened. I'll just give Spanky a moment to actually get over here, and then we'll have a talk about that. Hey, Knives, I see you're coming along, too. How's everybody doing? How was your stream, Spanky, now that I'm assuming you can hear me? And, of course, thank you for the huge rate of 13 there. I apologize that my alerts are still very broken. Yeah, I can imagine. It's not been too great in terms of the temperature around here either. The constant storms have been the only thing keeping me from cooking. We cannot reach this bomb device from this side. Yeah, that sounds about right. Any real temperature is gonna make a laptop terrifying. Yes, of course, we have this tendency to skip the standard greeting of hello and just run straight into talking about things, as we do. Yeah, we've finished off Prime 1 earlier, and I've decided since we had some time left in terms of how long I wanted to go today, I may as well start Prime 2. It's running a little funky still, so I'll need to be fixing that between actual sessions, but it's doing its job well enough now. And yeah, exactly. We get straight to the point, so we don't have to worry about anything. We are a little deficient in the jump regard right now. So I almost managed to glitch my way up there. Hang on. Can I make that happen again? Now I'm curious. Because if I can wedge myself there again, I'm pretty sure I could morph ball and get up there. 100% not supposed to do that. But it'll be funny. Nope, it's having nothing to do with that now that it understands that I know what to do with that. Well, see, and that's why they still haven't made it yet. They're still trying to figure that one out. That's why they're dodging off into potentially making a remaster for the first game and potentially the rest of these, rather than figure those numbers out. We still don't have bombs. When in doubt, break things. Yeah, it's just like how you're never really gonna see a Half-Life 3 because they never wanted to account that high. I appreciate that, and have a good one, Spanky. And of course, thank you again for the huge raid on that one. Yeah, big ol' warning of here be worms. Can't do anything with that yet. Oh look, space pirates. Surprising. And you'll notice their design has rather significantly changed from the first game. Morphology: Pirate Trooper, Starfaring Brigand. Aggressive, well-armed bioform trained for combat and conquest. Sworn enemy of Samus Aran. And they've got a much higher tendency to cling to walls like they used to in the two-dimensional games, as opposed to just kind of standing around like idiots in the first Prime. I think there's still one more kicking around somewhere. I hear him. Come on. Show yourself. Ah, you're hanging out up there. And that's the end of him. He flew far. Now, I will say, much to the potential either glee or disappointment of those who came along with Spanky's raid, I'm probably not going that much longer for myself. So you may end up getting shuffled off one more time. I'm in the next, like, half hour or so. We'll see how long my energy holds out. since I've already been at this for a good, like, 5 hours between finishing up Prime 1 and starting this. The fact that I love this series is pretty much the only thing keeping me up so far, or if I'm honest. And I would also completely understand if this isn't everybody's cup of tea. Morphology: Shriekbat, territorial flying rodents. Rapid flying explosive enemies target and eliminate enemy at range if possible. Or, you know, just let them crash into a wall and destroy themselves, because they don't have the greatest self-preservation nor intelligence out there. Ah, this looks important. What could possibly go wrong if I jump down here? We get boxed in. And have to fight a big worm. Morphology: Alpha Sand Digger. Large tunneling bioform. Extremely well armored. Target exposed eyes to damage this creature, just as with the small ones. But it's about to get more complicated than that. It's also about to devour the frame rate. Now, Bomb Guardian. Bomb dropping Darkling. Enemy is utilizing your Morph Ball bomb unit. Although its armor is strong, its tail is exposed when it's moving. Mouth can be hit when glowing. So now it's the typical worm boss of you have to shoot it in the tail in order to do any real damage to it. And once you hit the tail enough times, the face becomes vulnerable. You have to do a lot of dodging in order to get around to hit this thing properly, more or less. Not one of my favorite mechanics in this game, but it gets the job done, and you only have to do it a couple times, as you can see from the damage dealt there. And thankfully, unlike Prime 1, you can chain dodges a lot more effectively. So it's easier to get around things. Or at least, I've always had an easier time chaining dodges in this one. I don't know if it's actually mechanically improved at all. But all in all, this fight is not hard, as you can tell. By the fact that there's basically nothing left here. We have to just hit it one more time and the fight's over. And yet, somehow, as a kid, I had devil of a time with this, just like many other fights in this and Prime 1. Just goes to show how much younger selves can just kind of suck at video games. But now we get back one of our stolen pieces of equipment, our Morph Ball Bomb. Because we lost a large portion of our equipment when we got pulled into the Dark World and pummeled by a bunch of Darklings. Telluric alloy. We know what to do with that. It's not missiles. It's bombs. I'm gonna keep hitting the wrong button with that. And that's just gonna continue to be a thing, even though I had a handle on it as we were finishing Prime 1. For some reason, my brain immediately lost that concept again. It's just a thing. Now there's immediately something that needs bombs. You pop into the bomb slot there, it'll rotate around. And now we have access to the other side. which is the first energy collector. Access point for local energy system. The energy transfer module has been designed to interface with it. Once it has, all of the energy within the module will be channeled into the local system. But you'll notice we kind of can't do anything with it right now. Other than what we've done. But there's something over here. Luminoth subject terminated 1.5 decacycles ago. Damage from multiple weapon systems detected. Subject definitely went out fighting. Importantly is this. Luminoth Holo Projector online. Automated message initiated. Welcome, I am Isha, a sentinel of the Aegon Temple. This message survives my death as guidance to one who would fight the Ying. A portal to Dark Aether lies nearby. With it you can travel to this land's shadow. You must locate a dark temple, a twisted mockery of this sacred place. Inside you will find the energy controller you seek. The temple door is held fast by 3 locks. The keys for the locks are hidden throughout the Dark Land. Your search will be difficult. Even the very air of Dark Aether is dangerous and can cripple the strongest of warriors. In our past struggles with the Ying, we placed a series of light crystals throughout their world. They remain today. These crystals create safe areas that will protect you from the harmful atmosphere of the Dark World. I've updated your translator module. You can access devices and doors coded with amber holograms. More lands are open to explore. When you have taken the energy from the Dark Temple, return here at once. May the light of Aether serve you well. And that is why we can't interface with this device here. We have no energy to provide to the system, and it has no energy for us to take. We have to go to the Dark World version of this place in order to get the energy to give back to the light side. Now this place has been infested with war wasps. Because no one gets tired of war wasps, right? Everybody loves those. Which is why I'm just gonna kind of walk away from them. And of course there's more Shriek Bats, who also had a redesign since the first game, as you can see. They're very purple now. But now we can open up holograms like that one across the way from us. Not that I can make that jump, because I didn't jump from the right place. But we'll make our way there just fine. There's also this door. Oh, I remember where this goes, I think. You fire from cannon to cannon to get up to the top of here. Then you come out on this side, where there's a dead man. Bioscan complete. Luminoth subject terminated 1.9 decacycles ago. Target has a number of wounds caused by small explosions, likely delivered by a portable rocket or grenade system. Kinda like the ones that space pirates have. And you can just kind of sneak around the side here and grab this missile expansion. Just be careful not to get pulled into the ball launcher, or you're going to go back all the way over again, and then you're going to have to do it one more time in order to get the missiles. Now you'll notice there's a space pirate hanging around in here. Made all kinds of fancy technology. Mechanical analysis complete. Portal dynamo offline. Configure lens system to focus solar power on dynamo. This will energize the system. That is where we'll be able to summon a portal. Of course, they're going to take issue with the fact that we're trying to get a hold of this. Because, you know, they're space pirates. They want everything for themselves. But, of course, they're pretty well compatible with an evil old parasite like the Ying. So, of course, the Ying are going to come claim them. Making dark pirates. Dark Pirate Trooper. Darkling possessed space pirate. Enhanced strength and stamina from addition of symbiote. Dislikes bright light. Not gonna lie, same as far as the bright light goes. Bright light is no fun. You'll notice, though, they are very dangerous now. They will consume your health rapidly. And they are durable bastards now. Thankfully, missiles still take care of the problem just fine. But it got a little hairy. So I was trying to not have to use any missiles, just to make sure we keep missiles on hand for puzzle solving. But after a bit, that stops being as viable as I would like it to be. Console used to energize and open a portal to Dark Aether, currently offline. That's because you gotta power it with this thingy. Well, not exactly. There's more to it than that. Conveyor belt. First of the focus lenses is in place. Industrial solar lens, part of a system used to open a portal to Dark Aether. Get rid of this block so that it activates the next one. Now, I don't know if the sand pouring through is actually part of the mechanism, or if just moving that piece is what activated it. Could go either way on that one, really. Might even be both. Might have needed to remove the blockage, and then the sand is allowed to go through, so then it works. Hard to say. Just gonna skip past all that and activate the next one. Now, of note for those who have joined us recently, I have not played this game for a very long time. I have played the vast majority of it, so my memory may or may not be serving us well here, but I would still prefer people not to backseat or provide any serious spoilers. Mentioning where something is that's nearby is okay. I mostly don't want the spoilers so that people who have not seen the game at all can be surprised by things. Because for myself, it's not too big an issue because I've seen the whole thing. And for the most part, it's just been long enough that most of it's gone. But as it's encountered, it'll come back to me. Alright. But that bomb slot's connected to one that's not actually here. It's over in the Dark World, which makes it a little bit problematic to use. What did this thing say? Right. The system's powered, we just need to go scan the portal generator again and it should activate. There's also a log over here that I should grab. The main energy controller was built in the Great Temple. 3 sub-controllers were built in the temples of Torvus, Aegon, and Sanctuary. They collected the energy of Aether, then radiated it all over the world to all who needed it. In time, we came to call this precious energy the Light of Aether. It brought an age of peace and prosperity to the Luminoth. And then that all stopped, because the Aang have ruined everything. You know, as evil forces tend to do. Portal generation system initiated. Time to go to hell. Kinda literally, all things considered. As all light fades, we enter the darkness truly. And we see the other side. But, yeah, that's a bit of a problem. In this world, the temple's not active yet. Yeah, they weren't kidding when they said the atmosphere of the Dark World is dangerous. Appreciate it. As long as we stay in these bubbles, we're safe from the constant damage, but we will have to transition between these points. Thankfully, we can turn the portal back on. It's not like it's been disabled or anything. It just wasn't activated on this side. So if we need to, we can run back to the light world at any time. But we do need to press on through here. And that is a temporary safe zone right there, a light beacon. Xenotech Luminoth Light Beacon. Generates protective field when energized. Light beacons must be energized by beam weapon and fire to function and remain charged for a limited time. And you'll notice our health is restored when we're in those zones. But if I remember right, it only restores damage taken by the environment. I don't think it restores actual damage taken by enemies. But I cannot guarantee that. It has been too long. So now that I think about it, I remember sitting and soaking in these a lot, so it might heal all of it. Xenotech, Luminoth Light Crystal. Generates protective field of light energy. Light crystals provide protection from Dark Aether's atmosphere. They can be nullified by dark energy and supercharged by light energy. That's a little hint as to something we'll get as we go. But more importantly, that door is now open in the light world as well. A lot of the things you do in either of these worlds will carry over between each other. Because the mechanisms and such aren't actually fully tied to one world or the other. But they are partially. And once they stick their head up long enough, I will let you know what these guys are. Inglets. Morphology. Inglet. Worker drone of the Ing Horde. Wall-crawling morphing bioform. Strongly dislikes bright light. And thankfully, our power beam is just bright enough to really be upsetting to them. And somehow I'm betting it's a bit disruptive to have an energy weapon like that fired into a mass like that. Unfortunately, as you can see, our power beam is not powerful enough to energize these crystals further. It only activates. But at least it's sufficient to deal with small class as Ing like that. And there's our first save point of the Dark World. Now, if you're not careful, you can get yourself into a position where you have to deal with a lot of bad travel to get back out of somewhere you save. So I would highly recommend you be cognizant of where you're saving if you're ever in the Dark World and using a save point. Because I definitely got myself into a bad position before, which save points thankfully will fully heal you, but there are a couple points where you can walk across enough Dark World area that you can't normally handle, but you can make it. And if you save on the other side of that, you're going to have to deal with that situation more than once, ends up being the thing. Because I decided to be cheeky and go somewhere I did not belong when I played this originally, and I got myself into a really awkward position that way. Now we start encountering some of the real problem around here, the Warrior Ing. Morphology, Warrior Ing, the soldiers of the Ing Horde. Shape-shifting wall crawler, dangerous combatant in melee and at range, dislikes bright light. Now the good news is they don't really want to enter these light crystal circles. So as long as you're not out there with them, you're not really under much threat from them. The thing to watch out for is their shots will go into the light bubble. They just can't charge you while you're in here. But even while they're in goo form, you can hurt them. Now, basic Warrior Ing, not super dangerous. They are a little rough, especially if you end up fighting them in their element in the dark itself, but you'd be pretty foolish if you end up in a situation like that. I'm gonna go ahead and save the fact that we've triggered that fight and dealt with it. Just for convenience in the future. Totally not because I got turned around fighting him at all or anything. Nope, I didn't get turned around at all. I always know what direction I'm going. And if anyone who believed that would be interested in a bridge, I might be able to hook you up. Morphology, Lightbringer, light-generating forager. Creature generates safe zone while living, immune to most forms of attack. I'm not sure how those things developed. That's a whole other thing. Because one would assume that the Luminoth would have had to have bred those in some way. But in the end, they just kind of are here. And you would think a log entry would say that that's how they came to be if they were made like that. There's a blast shield on the door blocking access. It's invulnerable to most weapons. Dark energy may damage it. Yeah, I wonder what we get around here. Yeah, traveling safe zones are going to be a mechanic we're going to need to worry about here and there. And you can see the thing's just a walking batch of crystals. Which is why I theorize that the Luminoth made these out of crystals. And the fact that they're immune to most weaponry is probably the only reason they're still around. Otherwise the Ing would have destroyed them. Considering they don't like light. And over here, you'll notice there's a rift portal. If you charge that with light, you can go back to the light world from there. Because that's going to be a big mechanic in this game, is traveling back and forth between the light and dark world from here forward. I have made mistakes. You'll note that the Dark World drains your health very rapidly. Like, very, very rapidly. All things considered, aside from getting up there to our right, there's not a whole lot we can do here. Problem being, that area is very covered in dark and not all that pleasant. But we gotta go over there anyway. I might die walking over here this way. Because there is no safe spots to be found on this path. I have made a mistake. I don't think I'm meant to go up there right now. Hindsight being 20/20, I don't think I'm meant to be over there. We might have been meant to go through the other door, or we're not even meant to have tracked in here further yet. I might have been intended to open that door and then go back to the light world. I think I might actually be doing exactly the thing I was talking about before, where you can get yourself into a really awkward spot, is the game will completely allow you to do it. So let's fall back to the save point and fix the damage I've done to myself. And we're gonna go ahead and fall back to the light world. Except I keep going back in here, because I'm a fool. How do I get out of here again? Once I stop being stuck in the floor. That's actually a really good question. How do we get back? Ah, there we go. I just couldn't see it from this angle, but there's the hallway right there. Ah. I'm just gonna gun it back out of here. A charge shot will immediately activate those temporary safe zones, by the way. Okay. Just gonna wait a second, let our health come back a bit, and then we'll go back to the light world. Or can we? Oh, that might be a problem. Maybe we are intended to be on this side more right now. Appreciate the 3 gifted. Interesting choices on where those landed, too. I don't think we can actually get up there right now, so we might be stuck dealing with that dueling range and having to climb through that whole damage zone without much recourse. Well, such is life. Because don't get me wrong, what I was trying to do is completely doable, it's just very awkward. Because of the nature of there being, you know, no safety zones in between. Though there might also be something I'm missing where I'm able to generate a safe zone somewhere along the way there. Wouldn't be the first time. I do apologize for alerts still being broken so you didn't see that happen on screen. I still need to go have a fight with Stream Elements about what the hell that green flashing was. Let's have another proper poke around here and see if I can make some sense of where I'm supposed to be actually getting to there from. Because climbing there directly definitely does not seem like a viable idea at the current juncture. I don't think I'm meant... Yeah, I can't go this way because there's a dark door there. And I don't think I can jump high enough to reach this platform. No. No, I cannot. So I've got to go this way. And that's when we reach an impasse. Oh, okay. There is a healing point over there. Just gonna give it a minute and let my health come back somewhat before I make that run. Because we tried it initially to go that way, and that's where I made a mistake. And of course, there's the worm statue, so you know vaguely where we are relative to the light world. As dark, desolate, and nasty as this version is, most of the structure remains the same. But as you can see, one wrong turn in the dark world can lead to things getting really complicated for you. But it's actually this whole Dark World mechanic that is the thing I'm not super fond of with this game, because of the fact that you end up with a lot of wait time where you're just kind of sitting here waiting for your health to come back so you can go through to the next part. Because since you have no choice but to take the constant damage for a large portion of this game, and you have no means of really readily healing yourself, it just is what it is. So it ends up kind of just being a delay of game. But mechanically, it makes sense, and in terms of the plot, it also makes sense. So I'm not going to fight it too much, I'm just pointing out that that's a mild problem. Now we have another boss fight. The Jump Guardian. Which is going to be very helpful. Morphology, Jump Guardian, Space Jump Powered Warrioring. Powerful metamorph with enhanced jump abilities, able to generate energy shockwaves and force fields. As soon as we deal with him, we'll have our nice benefit back. We just have to deal with him. Which, thanks to his enhanced jumping, can be kind of a pain because he likes to hide in awkward places like all the way up there. Thankfully, I don't think this fight has the mechanic where they can turn off the shields. I think that comes in a later fight when you can actually restore these shields. But as you can see, aside from it tanking the frame rate periodically, this is not too bad a fight. So this is another fight I had a devil of a time with when I was younger. I'm sensing that that's going to be a theme. Now, I could probably be hitting him with missiles to speed this up a bit, but It's not really necessary, so I'm not bothering. I'm not in that much of a hurry. But I will say, probably after we deal with him and get back to either the same save point or to a new save point, that'll probably do it for today, since we'll be over the 6-hour mark at that point. Like 4 and change hours of Prime 1 and not quite 2 hours of Prime 2 is probably a good amount. And that's the end of the Jump Guardian. He's gonna flop around and give us back our power. As well as raining a bunch of health pickups in case you needed them. Which, considering all the damage we took was healed by the area we're in, not so big a problem. But now we have our space jump boots back. We don't jump nearly that good, but we do jump better. Because as it's discussed, we have a double jump now. So now a lot of the bad reflex moments I've been having, because, you know, we got used to having that from the first game. We don't want to go that way right now. Very dark, very scary. Yeah, now my reflexes will be back in proper line because of the fact that, you know, we have the ability again. So I hopefully won't hurl myself into the void as much. Now you'll notice there's a new type of door over there, a green one. We can't do anything with that right now. We can, however, still deal with these red doors, which are blast shields. As opposed to the red doors from the last game, which were plasma doors. Sadly, I don't believe the plasma beam makes it into this one. So we don't get to have fun with that anymore. But I might be remembering wrong. I don't remember every weapon we get in this one. Oh, is this a proper boss fight? Yeah, it is. Do I want to do this now, or do I want to wait till next time? I've seen it now, I'll go ahead and fight it. I wouldn't want to cliffhanger you guys with that. That is, of course, if the game lets us fight him right now. I'm not sure if we do that now or later. Is that... I think we can all tell that that's definitely a boss fight right there. Not exactly subtle on that one. Dark Temple Key. And this is the other thing that gets kind of annoying with this one, is the Temple Keys. There's something more significant to that much further down the line that ends up being a problem. For right now, the keys won't be an issue, but there comes a point. Actually, somewhere I can go. Where's that glass? That's glass. Okay. Setting myself on fire. Just gonna sit here and keep shooting this to keep it active while we wait for my health to come back. Good enough. At least till we can get to one of these stationary ones. Which, curious concept. Where is this one being generated from? There's no crystal or anything here. We're just in a safe bubble for reasons. Key code acknowledged. Lock deactivated. 2 keys required to access temple. Search the Dark Aegon Waste for them. So yeah, we're not actually getting into that situation in there until we get all the keys. I forgot if he was guarding a key or if he was what you needed keys for. I have made a choice. It was a bad choice. I need to go back very fast or we will die. So yeah, we can't go through that door yet, and we can't get to the door on the other side yet for similar reasons. So our only recourse is to go back. We do, of course, know what we need to do. We need to find 2 more keys. But that is definitely going to be a good wrapping up point. I'm going to get us back to the save point, and then we'll end off, and I will find someone else to send all of you people to. For a while. Open up, open up. Thankfully, we can get back down easier than we got up, by far. Judgment Pit. We don't actually want to be in the bottom of the Judgment Pit, though. We wanted to get over there. But I can probably take a shortcut. So I think we can jump across this. I'm just going to let my energy get back up at least to 1 full bar before I make that jump. Because I can't guarantee I'll actually make that jump. And I'd rather not fall and die and have to redo the key collecting and everything. Okay. Yeah, no, we're not making that jump. There's no way in hell that's happening. There we go. Save point's over there. Portal site's here. I mean, it'll be just as quick to go through here and get back to the portal room. Because now that we have the space jump boots, we can actually traverse that. Oh, I've made mistakes, though. This was a mistake. This was a bad mistake. Open up, open up, open up faster. Traveling the Dark World is a constant concern. Because there's a lot of gaps like that where you're going to have a real spooky time for a bit. So I guess we'll go ahead and get back to the light world. Now that we have the space jump boots. Because I meant to do that. And then all kinds of other things happened, etc., etc. Because there should be an easily reachable save point in there as well. I know, I keep saying, oh, I'm going to end at this point, and then I don't end, and then I keep going, and then I don't end, etc., etc. That's what these games do to me. I don't stop. I know I need to stop. But I just want to keep going. But now you'll notice that door that we opened in the Dark World is open. And as described before, which just allows us to gain access to the same save point. Again, pirates still want us dead. It's the jerks like that. We're just gonna disregard those. Because they don't know how doors work. And it gets us another missile expansion. And you'll notice they're pretty quick about giving you a bunch of stuff in this one. You will end up with quite a lot of equipment pretty quickly in the early parts of Echoes, because they want you to have at least some of your old stuff back before they start really giving you the new stuff. Which only makes sense. And as mentioned earlier on, there will not be another session of Echoes until next week by virtue of my current schedule. If I do not come up with anything for Saturday's slot, or there's a complication with Friday's slot. This may get another day as a fill, but the intent is to do other things at the latter parts of the week to keep things interesting for everybody. You can keep different stuff flowing through the channel. Well, since this is going to go for a fair while, this is probably going to be... Since Prime was 4 streams, this is probably going to end up closer to 6 streams, unless I go long on any particular days. That is at the very least my expectations. I don't have a ton of options that I'm familiar with at the very least, so I'm going to do my usual thing of I'm going to turn my audio off, and I'm going to check the ones I'm not super familiar with and see if they'll be appropriate, for lack of a better way of putting it. No, that won't really suit our purposes right now. We're not doing that one. I might check in on that one. Let's see who's doing anything with this since we started it. Somebody's messing with the randomizer, but that's gonna be real spoilery for you guys, so I'm not gonna do that. Really? Just a whole lot of nothing to work with, huh? Okay. How about this? Is there anything to work with there? Because unfortunately, the 7 o'clock time slot and the 8 o'clock time slot, at least Eastern Standard Time wise, not the best. Not the best as in terms of people that I'm aware of being on. I mean, there was some discussion of Dread earlier. I could always throw you guys to somebody streaming Dread, because there's no shortage of people doing that. I just gotta find one in English. Let me just see how things work out for some of these before I send you, because I don't want to just blind send. And I know this is an unfortunate delay to everything, but this is what you gotta do when you run out of choices. Yeah, this seems like it'll be alright. There's a VTuber doing Dread, and their setup seems fine, so we'll go ahead and go over there. I don't know how you feel about raids and such, but I don't see anything saying don't raid me or anything, and I don't see it being disabled. So we'll give it a shot. If they yell, rant, and rave about the whole thing, we'll figure it out. So basically, short thing before I send y'all off. Thank you to those who came with Spanky's raid. I'm sure he's not here anymore to hear me say any of that, so I'll be sure to thank him more later. As I said, there won't be anything tomorrow or Thursday. Friday should be a collab. I'm going to touch base with Xeno and see if she's still up for Friday or if we need to reschedule things. Saturday should be same time, 1 to whenever I get tired. Same with Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday of next week will be more of this. Other than that, thank y'all for taking the time to be here. Follow if you want. That'd be great. I'm gonna send y'all off. Have a good one, everybody. Of course, and thank you for taking the time.